JJ, welcome. Thanks for coming and bringing your flute bag and your stories. So how are you doing these days?
I'm doing great, Bob, and thank you very much for having me back again. It's sure great to be back with you. It's been a little while, I guess, but it sure feels good to be back.
Yeah, it has been too long. And now, when I first met you, you had come to Nashville doing your country music and doing it very well. But I know that you also drew on your Native American heritage, playing flute music, traditional flute music, and storytelling. So
Right.
where's your focus these days?
Well, here most recently, I've been directing a lot more of my energy back to my Native American heritage, back to my Native roots.
Mm-hmm. And so that means you're up to what?
Well, I've been playing the Native American cording flute for many years, since childhood, really, and so I've been kind of putting more of my attention into that genre.
Now, what for people who might not know, what is the Native American cording flute?
Well, it is just that. The Native American flute is known primarily as a courting instrument, or it was back in the old days, traditionally. When a young man would see a young lady that he had his eye on there, and he was trying to get her to notice him, then he would sometimes go and sit outside of her family's lodge with a flute, and play some music for her, usually late in the evening, and it was considered a very honorable method of courtship to court a young lady in that way.
So you're taking your bag of flutes out on the road and courting the women of America.
Well, I guess you could say that.
So
yeah.
how many flutes do you carry with you when you're traveling?
Well, I have 7 of them here with me right now that I usually travel with.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then you have more you keep at home, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
you have a pretty big collection of traditional flutes. And by
Sure.
some of these flutes are beautiful. They're just works of art to look at.
Thank you very much.
I mean, they really are a variety, and everyone has its own personality and uniqueness to it. Now you've been very busy. You've just finished an album.
That's correct. Yes, I've got a new album project that's out and available now, and I'm just very excited about it. It's a project that I had the assistance of a wonderful producer, a man by the name of George Noriega, helped me to work on this project, and I'm just really excited at how it's turned out.
Now, you passed over that. I know that name,
Yeah.
and that's a pretty significant name. So tell us a little bit about who that is and where you met him.
Well, George Noriega is a Grammy Award-winning producer that has worked a lot with some big names in the Latin music area. Artists such as Jennifer Lopez, Gloria Estefan, Ricky Martin, Shakira, just to name a few.
That's some pretty good company to keep.
Oh yeah, yeah, I feel very privileged. And I was at the Native American Music Awards last year, and I had received a nomination for Flutist of the Year. And George was there with his family, and he had approached me, and he kind of heard the story about what had happened with my wife Cathy and I. We were in an automobile accident in which she was killed a while back, and George had heard the story. And so he was asking me what my plans were for my music, and I told him that I wanted to try and get in the studio and do a tribute album in her honor. And I guess something about that must have touched his heart, because George generously offered to record the album for me at his studio and produce it for me. And he has a studio down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's called Cutting Cane Studios. An amazing facility, and George brought in some really amazing musicians and singers to work with me in the studio on this project.
Well, that's fantastic. It's a wonderful album. I've got my copy and listened to it, and it was very, very well done. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And it's nominated for an Emmy for this next Emmy Awards show, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, yeah.
And you have other nominations?
Actually, yes. It's also been nominated at the Indian Summer Music Festival Awards. Those are going to be held in September in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Very good. And what's the name of the album?
The album is titled Tate Topa Win, which was actually the traditional Lakota name given to her, and it means 4 winds woman in the Lakota language.
Very good. Now, you brought your collection of flutes. Can you maybe share a little taste of what they might hear on the album? I know you don't have the instrumentation of the tracks, but just the pure flute, can you give us a little taste?
Sure, I'd be happy to do that.
Great. Now that's a unique one there. Tell us about this flute.
This flute here is known as a drone flute. It actually has 2 chambers, and if you'll notice here, it kind of looks like a double barrel shotgun. And
Show it to the camera
yeah,
there.
and it has 2 chambers, like I said there, and whenever they're both played together, it produces a harmonizing effect. And sounds a little something like this here.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for bringing your music here and sharing a little bit about what's going on. Now, you're going to be touring this summer? You're going to be out on the road at all?
Yeah, I've got some dates coming up. Next month especially, I've got some festivals where I'll be performing up in northern Illinois, up in the Great Lakes region there on Lake Michigan.
Very good.
And I'm really excited, looking forward to that.
Great. Well, thanks for coming, and it's good to see you again, JJ, and good luck on the road, and good luck with the Nammies.
Hey, thank
We'll keep
you.
our fingers crossed for October.
Thank you so much, Bob. Thanks for having me back again.